Welcome back. Now we continue analyzing the crash of the Emirates flight 521, the 3rd of August 2016. "11 seconds after the commander pushed the toga switch, the aircraft started descending. 14 seconds after the push of the toga switch, the commander believed that they were in a wind shear and he called wind shear toga even though they did not have received any wind shear warnings. 15 seconds after the toga switch, the commander realized that the thrust levers are in idle. He now firewalled them to max power, but this was too late and the aircraft is now descending with 800 feet a minute. 18 seconds after the push of the toga switch, the aircraft impacts runway 12 left, 2,340 meters from the threshold, in the landing gear transitioning to up mode. Engine 2 separated from the wing as the aircraft slid along the runway and both engines caught fire. After the aircraft come to a rest, the commander did a mayday call to the ATC and the aircraft was evacuated. After pilot flying pushed the toga switch and called go around flap 20, he verifies that the thrust is increasing, and then he pulls the aircraft up to a 7.5 degrees pitch. Pilot monitoring also verifies that the thrust is increasing and selects flap 20 and verbally confirm. Next call will then be positive climb from the pilot monitoring after scanning the instruments, and then the pilot flying replies with gear up. They climb away from the ground, up in the air again, flying basic instrument flying. They follow the missed approach procedure, or as told by ATC. Perhaps they enter holding pattern, they do the checklists, and now they start reasoning why they did a go around, and they communicate with ATC, they check the weather again, they gather information, and perhaps they go back to the same airport if the possibilities of a safe landing have increased. Otherwise, they will divert to the alternate airport, which they have where the weather is a little bit better. The crew did not have a plan. They have never done this before. And one explanation to this crash could be that when the commander pushed the toga switch, both pilots became startled, stressed, and therefore loosened their situational awareness. And they also had an over-reliance in the auto throttle. The auto throttle always works. It's always there. It's your best friend on the flight, and it's very easy to become complacent when it goes to the auto throttle. And I can verify that. During my 4 years and 3,000 hours, I flew the 737-800 for Ryanair. The auto throttle always worked. The crew in this accident followed Emirates procedures accordingly until the commander pushed the toga switch. None of the crew have any reported of mistakes or violations previous, and the commander had briefed various landing runways, had briefed normal go-arounds, wind shear escape maneuver, but he had not briefed go-around after touchdown. The crew did only one major mistake. None of the pilots properly scanned the engine thrust during the go-around. They also omitted scan the rest of the instruments. In most aviation accidents, there are several mistakes that leads the crew into the crash. In this was only one mistake. That's pretty unusual. The human brain is not that good in handling sudden changes of plans, especially if not trained, briefed and practiced. Why airplanes crash have listed 8 primary causes to this accident. Startle, stress and lost situational awareness. None of the pilots verified the thrust indication. Poor scanning of primary flight instrumentation. None of the pilots verified that the auto throttle replied. Pilot flying had not briefed a go-around after touchdown. The operator had no procedure for go-around after touchdown, and the operator had a silent verification of thrust in go-around. Both pilots were convinced that the main wheels never touched the runway. An over-reliance in the auto throttle. Good airmanship, aviate, navigate, communicate, is the core for all pilots. The manufacturer, together with the operator, design a standard operating procedure which aim is to cover all possible scenarios. Emirates believed that they have designed a perfect operating procedure after many years of operations. However, it's not possible to create a perfect procedure. Therefore, the commander must, in some occasion, use his own superior judgment and go outside the established procedures when situation requires. Some pilots don't dare to go outside and use their own superior judgments because they don't want to be blamed for not following the procedures. In the end, good airmanship is the most important thing for a safety outcome in a flight. And the main reason for the pilot flying to keep his hand on the thrust levers is to adjust them manually if needed. Some operators have practice go around after landing, some don't. Since a few years back, ICAO implemented a no-blame policy. That policy works fine in some countries and cultures and not at all in others. Culture and attitudes have a huge impact on flight safety.